Starting and running a business is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're an established business owner or thinking about starting a side hustle to earn extra income, I am here to teach you how to show up as your unfiltered self, level up your business, and thrive as a mompreneur. Let's embrace the chaos and start enjoying the journey together. I'm Amy Traw, and you're listening to the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. I am joined today by Angie Correa. We are talking all about life and demanding better and all of the things as women, entrepreneurs, and moms. So without further ado, Angie, welcome in. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And I am so excited to chat with you. So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are and what you do?
Sure. Okay. So I'm an ex-corporate executive. I always lead with that because I'm no longer that. And it took a lot of courage to kind of step out of that persona, right? Like, having the job that defined me or having whatever that defines you. It's one of the biggest things that I really work on with my clients. But so I'm an ex-corporate executive. I'm a native New Yorker, and I now reside in sunny Santa Monica, California, which is again a big part of, stepping into your truest desires. And I had claimed living by the beach over 12 years ago and finally made it happen 10 years ago. And so that's exciting. Yeah. And I now am coaching women who are looking to move up or move out of, their jobs, their careers, their corporate spaces, to step into really what is it that I want to do? What is it who do I want to become? And what's the impact and that I want to have in my immediate community and the community at large?
That is amazing and so needed. I really feel like there was a shift in society after 2020 that we started to realize there is more out there. We can change, we can demand better for ourselves. But I love how you're helping others find the courage to do that because it can be a very, very scary thing. And how you said you're a former, you're an ex, that is essential. I'm an ex healthcare worker. So I just stepped out of my career in healthcare. And yes, it is a very scary thing. And having the courage to step out of what defines you, what's kept you in that place, that stuck place for years, that's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, what I'm seeing a lot of, and I totally agree that women are really stepping into, okay, what do I want? And I think even if we take it a step back, for your listeners, I want them to like take a minute, stand there, take a deep breath and feel it, because a lot of the times before they even know this is what I want, this is, where I'm going, this is what I want my future to look like, they're in that kind of gap of like, I'm feeling something. I don't know what it is. And I get to be clear. And what I always say is like, clarity is great, but it's even better when you have the support system around you, so whatever that looks like to help you move into that space and that honor whatever that feeling is. And sometimes it's a fluttering in the chest, it's a knot in the throat, it's like you're getting these hits in your belly, like it's physical and visceral. And that's an indication that a shift needs to happen or gets to happen or is in the process of happening.
And that can be scary. That can be a very
Oh
uncomfortable
yeah.
feeling for people. How do you
Oh
find a
yeah.
way to help them navigate through those feelings?
Yeah, it's funny because I actually sent out an email this morning to my email list, and it was all about the questions you get to ask yourself, right? So, one of the things is what do people come to you for? Like, what do you find people are coming to you for? And, I mean, and it could be the most random things. Like some people, it's because they're really good at organizing. Other people they're really good at creating, planning a party. For other people, it's that they love technology. And it's when you're looking at that, it's like, that is the lowest hanging fruit to take one small step into, okay, well, if I do this and I monetize it because it is a service for somebody who hates to do those kinds of things, that could be the beginning of a huge business. right? Or that could just be the beginning of an extra $500 a month. I mean, I always equate it back to dollars and cents because, quite frankly, I feel like we all get to earn more income so that we can do more of the things that we want to do for ourselves and for others. Right. So it really, my mission is to support women in releasing themselves from financial concern, to say yes more than they say no, whether it's an extra 500, 5,000, 5,000,000, it doesn't matter. It's what can you do for others that gives them the space so that they can go and live in their own mastery, you know?
Beautiful. And I love how you mentioned too the small steps. Don't
Mm.
discount that low hanging fruit. So often we're so quick to dismiss, well, you know, I could never be an event planner because everybody else I see on, social media is rocking it with their kids' parties. Well, I am here to tell you, I am not that creative person. I have a sister-in-law that does such a phenomenal job. She's got the theme, she's got this, that, and the other. For me, that's not my skill set. And we're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
quick to just discount ourselves and our abilities because it does come easy to us.
Right. Right. And I think that is the one of the biggest misconceptions, especially for women, that it's like, oh, well, it's not hard, so it can't really like mean something. Right. And I'm like, no, that is your superpower. Like what you can do with your eyes closed to help somebody else that has no capacity in that space, whatever that is, I'm like, yes and amen. I mean, and then you see people that are going from like, oh well, I'm doing just my kids' birthday parties, but now you can be planning other people's birthday parties for like $5,000. I have a friend of mine that came out of a big corporate entity, and now she does huge like hotel ballroom things that are $60,000 parties for like a sweet 16. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But
Right?
people are
And
paying
so
her. She leaned into
people
that.
people are paying her to do every minute detail. And because she's so detail oriented and she's so meticulous, right? That made sense for her. It's like there's no sweat off her back. I would be like, where do the flowers go?
Well,
you know?
and it makes sense for that person, that woman in that place. It is making sense because it does come easy. So there's so much less stress. And often it's something you enjoy doing too. And that
Right.
makes it even more fulfilling because it's something you're passionate about. It's something that lights you up again. I think so often in corporate careers, in these careers we've been in for, longer than a decade, we start to lose some of that flame and passion and desire for what we're doing. And that's okay. I think it's important
Mhm.
to give yourself some grace and know that you may outgrow something. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I think that is also like, take it as an indicator. I think some people, take it as, oh, well, I'm grateful to even have a job, or how can I be so ungrateful that, I feel this way and it's afforded me so many opportunities. Well, the disservice is happening to your soul, right? To what the talent was that was, say, divinely ordained within you, and people think that, again, it doesn't have to be this giant, Oprah experience. It really is on the day-to-day basis of how you get to contribute to your community, right?
Yes.
Like, and to your family. Like when you think about, if you're feeling that and you're not honoring that, and you're a example for your children, how do you want them to honor the things that they are feeling if we're not doing that for them, right? And showing them that and giving them that example, right? And modeling that behavior. And as confusing as it may seem, it's like, even the process of working through, well, what am I feeling right now? Well, how is it? Journaling about it. What are the pros and cons? What do I like? What do I not like? How many people would really want to be in this? Researching how many other people in the World Wide Web are doing it, and then really coming to a conclusion. That whole process of resourcefulness and resiliency, I mean, those are like critical thinking skills. Like, hey, you could bring your kids into that, you could bring your family into that, and it becomes something that really is, it's like legacy project, right? Like you're creating what the future holds for you and your family. And what if by just exploring the idea of it, all of a sudden in a year from now, in 2 years, and 10 years from now, you're at a completely different place. You're in a bigger home, you have a different car, you're taking more vacations, you're spending more time with your kids. And if you don't do all of this stuff, you're still in the spiral,
Yeah,
right? So it's like, how do we get out of that?
exactly. And I think so many times we see women feeling guilt around this. Like you talked about, it's, well, I have a good job. I should be grateful for that. You know, my kids are healthy. I should be grateful for that. So why do I even bother to change? And we get these feelings of guilt, and then we almost talk ourselves out of it. We get stuck in that spiral. What advice can you give us to get out of that?
Um, it's so funny. I am a huge, I mean, obviously in this field, in this, this time that we're in, there's so much great information, and there are so many great mentors, and there's so many great books and coaches. It's really like honoring that feeling and finding the space where you can actually explore it. And there's so many different ways. It's like listening to this podcast, it's picking up a great book, it's hiring a coach, it's joining a mastermind. You've got to get yourself out of your everyday normal to put yourself in something that seems like it's so far from your normal is, but it really is guiding you in that thought process. Because what I also find is that sometimes, like, I mean, and I've had this where in my own family, you just need enough, right? Or don't ask for too much, or it's that limiting belief. Because like if you're desiring something that nobody else in your family has modeled for you, how can they be the ones to tell you not to do something that they haven't done you want to do? You know what I mean? It like doesn't even make
Exactly.
sense, because you can only rise to that in which you've been exposed. Unfortunately, our parents, our aunts and uncles who we adore, who we love, and who could be very well, established in community, can only rise to what they have accomplished. There's so much more out there, more than ever before, to support anyone in doing anything, that's where it's like, well, let me just here. And it doesn't always have to cost a lot of money. I mean, it really is listening to a podcast, going on a YouTube channel, doing all these things that are seemingly simple, to really say, okay, well, what I'm feeling is real. There are other people who are doing what I feel like I think I want to be doing. Let me try it out. Maybe let me ask one person if they would let me organize their closet, if they would let me plan their party, like doing it so that you can build that confidence to step into it, And I think that and make it fun. I mean, I'm all about like, make it fun. If it's too stressful for you, don't do it. But if you can make it fun, then, it's all the better.
Right. And taking that action builds that
Mm-hmm.
confidence. We've all been taught to think, oh, you just have to be confident. Something you just have to do it. Well, no, it takes action. It's challenging those self-limiting beliefs and those thought patterns that we have, and changing that narrative that we're telling ourselves. Because yes, what you said is spot on. Everyone else's limit is so high that, okay, they can only reach that level. And we're trying to break
Right.
through that. It's primal. It's a primal mechanism
Mhm.
that our brain is trying to stop us, because it doesn't have anything to compare it to. It doesn't have any example for success.
Right. Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. I mean, and I think, yeah, I love what you said, that it is primal, and there's so many great movies that kind of show that example. But I always say, like I said to a client the other day, and she was really frustrated, and she's going through a bad divorce, and she's really in that whole reinvention space, and that guilt is coming up for her with the time that she's spending with her family. And I'm like, what if you don't take any action? Where will all this be? And
Yeah.
she just started sobbing. She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, so take one action every day. And in a week, let me know how you feel. And she came back to our next call and had like, I did this and I did this and I did this and I did that. And they were so small. It was like such small little things. Like I just made my list and I did my 10-minute meditation and I took a bath and it's to fulfill her spirit, her soul, so she could show up as a better woman, a better mom, a better, like all these things that help her move through that. And then what happens was that her kids were calmer, right? She wasn't having as much, she wasn't being triggered as much through the divorce. Like it is our responsibility, and we have enough support out there for us. So it's not about like, it's our responsibility to do it. You've got to do it yourself, like from a scolding perspective, but really from a self-care perspective, so that we can be the best version of ourselves. So don't, go for a, European holiday and $10,000 and go away and escape everything. It's like, what can you do in your daily life?
Yeah.
And then take that $10,000 spa vacation.
Right, absolutely. But being willing to reach out,
Yeah.
being willing to take
Mhm.
those small actionable steps, even if it's a 10-minute meditation, like you said, even if it's just taking a bath, doing those
Yeah.
small little actions, that's where the impact happens. That's what is the
Yeah.
catalyst for all of these big changes that we see. We think that these successful people just woke up one day and, all right, you're Oprah. Like, no, if you dive into Oprah's story,
Mhm.
it is incredible of what she came through and from to get to where she's at. So I think we need to
Mhm.
stop
Mhm.
discounting ourselves and demand better.
Yes. 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 1,000%. 1,000%. And I think even with it's like declare better, right? Like even just that declaration, because I'm also really focusing on what are the words that we're using up until now. Have they worked? How does that word feel in your body? And so, and it's funny because I did this with somebody else, and it was a similar, I forgot which two words it was, but when I think about demand and declare, demand almost feels like a fight. And I'm not, for some people, it's like, that's what they need. They need that, like, but maybe others, it doesn't feel that way. And so it's like, I get to declare like what I want. I get to really stand in like, okay, this is the power that I have over the things that are going on in my life and in my world. And it's like, oh, okay, some people it's like, I want to take dominion over, so find the words too, because that can be a whole other podcast because I'm
Yeah.
really digging into that
No, I love
too.
it though,
But
because it does make sense. And the words we're telling ourselves, we're telling our children, words matter. And I don't think sometimes we realize how much of an impact those words can make. So I love how you say that.
ab-
Declare better. And that should be our
mm,
mantra for this year. We're going to declare better for ourselves. We're going to stop these self limiting beliefs and change that narrative. I
mhm.
love it. Angie, this was a fabulous conversation. Where can our listeners learn more about you?
I have been having so much fun on Instagram. So you can just find me. It's Angie Correa, CORREA_life 2.0. And yeah, that's where I'm pretty much spending most of my time. In there, you can also click on the link in the bio, and there's a couple of freebies in there. One of the things that I have, which I can send you more info on, but it's a Courageous Action Plan. And I will set up a discount code for your audience so that they can grab that for free. It's normally, I think, about $27 or $47. I can't remember, but I'll set that up for you, and so that you can have that.
That's awesome. So, you guys be sure to check that out. That is an incredible offer she's giving you today. Download your Courageous Action Plan, and we will put the link in the show notes to that. Angie, before you leave us today, can you give us one last takeaway or piece of advice?
Hmm. Wow. One of the things that I have really made a effort on, and this is my mission for 2023, is going to be my year of yes. And it's yes to things that fill me up, things that fuel me, experiences and people. It's not to be a yes person and just be a people pleaser. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm really, really talking about, saying yes to things that it's like we think may not matter, but honestly, going to a special event in our town, spending time over a weekend with friends that normally you might not stay at their home, but you know what, make it a slumber party. I went to something here that they did in Pasadena on the second. It was Float Fest. It was all the Rose Parade, but after the parade, you get to go see all the floats and things that will enrich you on a daily basis, and experiencing that with other people and really standing in the yes, because that just opens up more opportunity for you. It cleanses, your spirit. I talk a lot about spirits because it's like I feel things so like deeply, and it becomes a way for us to draw and be a magnet for more positive things that happen in our lives.
So good. So good. Yes. Becoming magnetic for the good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Angie, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Until next time, stop dreaming and start taking messy action. You've got this. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.